Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Arky podcast here. Hope you guys are well. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be reviewing your team, the Carlton Blues. So the Carlton Blues finished off 5th place. They had 13 wins, they had 9 losses. Points for was 1,922 and points against was 1,697. So their captain there was Patrick Cripps, and Michael Voss was the coach. So look, heading off, just quickly going off last year, they had a very, just a very heartbreaking loss there to the Pies, and because of that loss, they ended up being 9th place. And obviously this season here, a lot of unknown, but I think a lot of, I suppose, talk or yarn, if you will, that they would make the 8 this season. So heading into the season here, some of their key players, Jack Silvani, Paddy Dow, right, Jesse Motlop, Adam Chera, Blake Acres, debut year for Blues, Sam Doherty, as I mentioned, Cripps, Fisher, I don't want to miss them out, but you get what I mean, just a whole heap of Wiedering as well, Charlie Kerner, etc. Look, heading into the season here, like I said, they had their first game. So their first game, just quickly, it was a draw. It was a draw against the Tigers, which was a really good match, by the way. Then they went on to win their next 3 games, and they lost 2 in a row. Then they won against West Coast. Then, literally from round 8 to 13, they went and they lost, 6 games in a row, which didn't bode well for them. And then they had a rebound. And then from round 14 to round 23, they won every game. In their last game there against the GWS, they lost. Look, in saying that, it was a very, how do I say this? A season that I think a lot of people were probably going to, dub as the usual Carlton season. Was not the usual Carlton season. They actually ended up rising, climbing up, out of the wreck that they were in, particularly in the latter end of the season. So they actually made the final there, and they actually had a game against Sydney, and it was really tight affair. They actually won by 6 points just, and they actually went on to verse Melbourne. And this game here was probably touted to be a Melbourne win, but it wasn't to be. Carlton winning that game there by 2 points in a very close game there. Then they went on to verse the Lions, and unfortunately, despite the hot, cracking start in the first quarter, it sort of went downhill for them, and they lost by 16 points. Look, overall, it was a good season, one that they can absolutely build on. The platform was laid, and a whole heap of players will gain some good experience there. It was a good season for Carlton, and one that they should not forget, and hopefully they can use to catapult themselves to get further, right? They finished off in the prelim win, a few people ruling them out completely. So it was a good season. Can't complain at all. That's it. Don't argue.